Hey guys, today we're talking about the 5 reasons why you should consider getting sheep, but first we're going to go check on the lambs. They were a little spooked yesterday after getting their first experience with the electric polywire. Glad to see you back in your shelter. Yesterday I finally got the interior of the corral electrified with a single strand of polywire. The reason for that is I'm trying to introduce them to this now so they can get used to it before we put them out in a paddock shift rotation using portable electric fence. It did not take them long at all to start discovering the electricity through the polywire. They got popped right off the bat. After I set it up, I went inside the house for a little bit to make lunch, and I looked out the window and I saw them repeatedly going to the wire, getting zapped and running away. So I quickly set up the camera to try to capture it from the window, but they had learned the lesson by then and they weren't going near it again. But their behavior changed a lot. They seemed really spooked and a little despondent, a little upset. They just kind of all huddled together and stayed towards the middle of the corral. They didn't want to go near the edges, rightfully so. But I did get a little concerned when I saw that they weren't using their shelter. Even when the sun was going down last night, they usually like to retreat to their shelter a little bit, and I didn't see that. They were lying towards this end of the corral away from the shelter. I'm pretty happy to see them back in it today. Looks like they're doing okay. A few days ago, I got a question in the comment section on one of the videos. Why sheep? Why did you guys settle on raising sheep? So, I just wanted to address some of that for you. There are 5 compelling reasons why you might consider getting sheep for your homestead or farming operation. Number 1, they are ruminants. It's well documented within the sustainable ag, holistic management community that the number 1 way to revitalize a landscape is through the use of ruminants. Not to get too scientific or anything, but when a ruminant eats grass off the land, basically there's this bacteria in the rumen that essentially creates magic. It's just magic, and out comes the other end, or the most nutrient dense form of fertilization for the ground. Also with ruminant animals, they are an herbivore, which means that they can be sustained completely on grass. They are 100% grass-fed animal. No grains, no other feed stuff, just grass, 100% grass-fed animal. That is key to sustainability. Theoretically, in time, you can get your land to the point where it is completely sustaining your ruminant livestock. You don't have to grow grain or bring in a bunch of other imports. You can grow all the grass right there on your property, and if you manage it right, and depending on how much land you have, you can even stockpile for the winter or put up hay. Either way, it's all coming from your land. That is the recipe for sustainability. This land has not been managed in years, maybe even decades. It's really hard to tell. It is way overgrown with noxious weeds. We have really poor soils based on the type of noxious weeds I'm seeing growing here. So I'm super interested in revitalizing this landscape and bringing it back. So having ruminants on this landscape is a priority for me. The second reason you might consider sheep is that they are great on small scale. There are plenty of other ruminants from which to choose, such as cattle or bison, elk, anything like that. They're all ruminants and going to do a really good job of also revitalizing your landscape. But here's where the sheep beat them out. The sheep are excellent on a small scale. Cattle are big. They require a lot of feed. Generally speaking, you can get 1 cow per acre of land. With sheep, you're looking at approximately 5 head per acre. Now that's going to vary a lot depending on where you are in the world, what your particular property is like, what your forage is like. So it's very rough, but essentially you're getting 5 sheep to 1 cattle. So what that means is if you're on small acreage, sheep can still be part of your plan. You're not limited to just some chickens. We would love to get some cattle here, particularly Dexters, because they're suited to a smaller landscape. But we have 10 acres, so even some Dexter might be pushing it just a little bit. We'll have to check and see how that goes. But with sheep, we know we can get sheep on here, and they're gonna do a lot of the work that the cattle can do as far as grazing and bringing back the landscape. they're just appropriate to our scale of our operation right now. You're probably not going to be able to sustainably and responsibly raise cattle on an acre or two, but you can definitely manage that with some sheep. Number 3, these guys are comparatively easy to handle. Cattle are huge. Pigs get really huge really fast. These guys are pretty manageable. Way easier than goats. This is an advantage for the beginning homesteader or farmer. If you're just getting into this and you're bringing cattle on your property and you're not used to managing livestock, that can be pretty intimidating. Those guys are huge, and it can be challenging to handle and manage them. A few days back, these guys escaped. They broke out of the corral here. I was off site when that happened, and my wife was here with our building contractor, and the two of them were able to round up 2 of them and get them back in. And then when I got back home, I got the last one in, but I was able to easily guide him back into the corral. I'm not sure how this would have went with cattle if they had broken out. And these guys are really good for children. I mean, they're not huge. If you have small children around the livestock, you're not really gonna have to worry too much about them getting trampled or run over or anything by these lambs. Number 4, depending on the breed that you select, you can get up to 3 different yields from the one animal. A sheep produces meat, wool, and milk, which you can change into cheese or a number of other value-added products. For us in our situation, wool isn't really that important to us. It's not something we were planning on using personally, and it's not something that I'm terribly interested in learning how to market and sell, but it might be for you in your situation. So that's why we were really interested in hair sheep. The Katahdins in particular, they don't produce a wool product, and we don't have to worry about them getting shorn every year. And right off the bat, we were interested in meat production, but later on, milk production is certainly a possibility. Number 5, speaking of meat, the meat yield from these guys is obviously a lot less than that of cattle. If you were to raise a steer, you can expect anywhere from 500 to 600 pounds of meat. That's a lot of meat to deal with for one family. It's not just with consumption, but also with storage, with putting it in freezers. With these guys, I can expect roughly 50 pounds per carcass. That is a very manageable amount of meat, especially for a small family. One lamb carcass can easily fit in a standard freezer. So guys, those are the 5 reasons why you might consider getting sheep, and as part of the reasons why we wanted sheep on this property, why it is a good fit for us. But I'm gonna throw in one more bonus for you. Lambs are just plain cute. Certainly not reason enough in itself to justify bringing an animal onto the property, but it sure is a nice bonus.
So adorable.
It is him.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Redmond's Trace Mineral Salt. Guys, I got some salt for you.
You're going to whack it all day.
You want some salt, buddy? Is that good?
He's smelling you.